Utah's top computer science programs. I wanted to be in the tech industry one day. The longer I was in school, the more I realized that I thrive when I am learning hands-on. School was a lot more lecture-based and theoretical learning. I also felt misplaced as a woman of color in a STEM program. In time, these two things began to weigh on me, and I realized how unhappy I was with my college experience. So I decided to quit the university, which was really hard for me. After all, I had spent more than 2.5 years worth of time and money towards pursuing a degree. I had heard about tech boot camps for a while, so after quitting the university, I researched everything I could about tech boot camps. I decided to jump into a tech boot camp, which honestly I felt crazy because I knew that a tech boot camp didn't guarantee me a job in tech any more than a 4-year computer science degree did. But I was all in. I was completely fascinated with what I was learning about product development and user experience design. And in time, I began to feel relieved and confident in the decision that I had made. As the boot camp came to an end, I began applying for jobs, and a friend of mine encouraged me to apply for an internship at Pluralsight. I applied, though I felt underqualified, and I was invited to come in for an interview. The following day, I was offered the position. As the internship ended, I applied for a full-time position, and I was hired on as a product designer, and I have been at Pluralsight ever since. Now, this is just a condensed version of my journey so far, but within this time, there are a few things that have stood out to me. Number one, there is more than one way to get into tech. For some people, that means getting a 4-year degree, and for others, that means immersing themselves in online material and self-teaching, and for others like me, that means going to a tech boot camp. And we're still innovating on how to get even more people into the tech industry. My hope is to be a reminder to our tech leaders that none of these routes are really better than the other. They are simply different ways at mastering the craft. Number two, craftsmanship requires hard work. Product and software development are a craft, and there are no shortcuts to becoming a master at a craft. I also know that true master craftspeople put in time and energy outside of out of normal work hours to mastering their craft, and I'm committed to doing this. I have already been able to see my unique perspective brought to my company. Pluralsight is known for their on-demand videos. My team has released a tool that allows authors to share their knowledge through written text rather than videos. Yet another example that we all learn differently. Number three, I'm grateful for my allies. No one is successful alone, but some people have an easier time finding key supporters than others. I'm at the beginning of my career and doing everything I can to master my craft, but I have realized that even if I do everything I can, the odds are still against me. Mariah Hay, a product leader and expert at Pluralsight, is an example of a great ally to me. She sets high expectations for me and expects me to succeed. She makes me feel like the odds are in my favor. According to McKinsey, 19% of executive roles nationally are held by white females, whereas women of color hold only 4% of these roles. And in Utah, these numbers are much lower. You know what I think when I hear stats like these? I think to myself that even if I do everything I can, there will still be barriers that keep me from progressing in this field. So, that is where I'm going to ask you to help me and others like me. It is harder for people of color to find allies. The next time you're in a meeting and you realize that you're the only female in the room, rather than asking, where are all the other women at, ask yourself, where are the women of color? As Nicole Sanchez, CEO and founder of Via Consulting, has said, if a black female can thrive in your company, almost everyone else will be just fine. Start noticing black and brown women. Realize that we have barriers that many white and Asian women may not have. There are many women of color looking for paths to rise in this field. As my example illustrates, I did it my own way, but I did not do it alone, and I challenge each of you to be allies to other women like me. Thank you.